With this IR stuff, one of the things that's just a killer right now is I wake up every morning on who's going to call today. It has become that frequent, and it's scary. Who's going to call me today, and how are they going to be impacted? Yeah, people don't usually call me because they're happy. What we're really seeing a lot of is your general ransomware. Somebody gets an email, they have a bad link. They open a file with a macro that's enabled. There are some of the things that I want to talk to you about how to protect yourself there. The first thing being awareness is what are you doing, and shame on us if we're not preparing our user environment to deal with these things, to be aware, to see what's going on, to understand the types of threats that are coming in. Is it a bad link? You hear so often the mousing over the link, or hey, if it's this type of file, don't open it. Or if it's something that asks you to elevate permissions, such as a Word document that might have a macro, are you doing something to prepare your user community to combat those things? And knowledge is the best thing that we're going to have. That's our first line of defense. Some of the other things that we're seeing in those areas are, when's the last time you looked at the local administrative rights of your PCs? So do the users have that right? Can they install any program? Can they run any application? Or do you reserve that for the actual help desk? We had an incident here at Quest where a customer came to us and their HR department had been sent a resume document. And the person in their human resources department couldn't open that document, so they asked the help desk for some help. So their help desk, what the deal was, is that it was trying to run a macro with administrative rights that the company had actually put the protections in place to stop. And the help desk people, being helpful, had local admin, and they ran a document which launched an attack. So just that general awareness, as well as the endpoint technologies that you should have in place. I mean, we used to classically have antivirus and a firewall. That's not good enough anymore. We need to have those next generation features. We need to have application features. We need to have endpoint security. And for goodness good sakes, just let's look at it. So that's one of the other things that we're really seeing in the industry today is people have protected themselves. They have instrumented their networks. They've put in place technology that nobody's looking at. And that really comes back to bite us in the end. So we want to make sure that we can help people visualize that. And it's also one of the things that we're seeing is with these threats becoming more and more prominent, it's now not so much somebody is a victim. IT staffs today are starting to be looked at as negligent for not taking care of their parts and pieces in their networks, their technology, and keeping an eye on it. It's no longer the mall cop at the door that's going to save your bacon. You need to have a real program, because people are starting to experience some real pains. Several companies have actually just been put out of business. They could not afford to pay the ransom that was being asked, and they could not afford to recover the data. So I saw a multi-million-dollar company go out of business in a period of 7 days. They could not function, they could not ship their product, they could not work their logistics, and they just, after that experience, could no longer function, and they lost their livelihood. So don't let that be you. You make sure that you're doing the things that you need to do to take care of those and address those items. At Quest here, we like to take an approach to where we can, our slogan is, we're here to help. So if you engage Quest with a security concern or an experience, I'm not here to bust your chops, and we're not here to audit somebody, so to say. We're here to help you out. So if there's some troubles that you're experiencing, we want to get involved. We want to roll up the sleeves with you, get in and make sure that you're instrumented, you're protected, and that you can, God forbid, have an experience like that you're able to recover. So that's one of the other things that we're looking at. In addition to the front line defenses, what is your capability to recover your critical data? So, critical data could be the recipe for Coca-Cola, it could be your payroll, it could be your customer list, client list. But you start thinking about, how would I operate if I had my most critical data lost? Can you recover? Do you have the ability to restore that from backup? Do you have a hard copy of it? Do you have just general knowledge from your staff and crew members that you could re-enter that? One of the other things that has become significant lately, and this has really kind of taken an interesting turn, is licensing. So the way manufacturers like Microsoft, VMware, and so on are licensing products now, when you're trying to do a recovery or a bare metal restore and you have to key in a license to get back operational, a lot of folks don't even have access just to recover that information. So it's another thing. It sounds very silly, like I worked 36 hours straight to get my data back up and online, and I'm at a stopping point because I can't key in a license. So what are you doing to manage that information? How is it being made available to the people that need it? How is it protected from being exploited? Those are all important pieces of an all-encompassing security program that we'd like to help you with. A few things that you can do to protect yourself is to look at your security posture. You want to make sure that your program that you have in place is adequate for the technology that you have implemented, and the people that you have in place that are manipulating your data, the value of the items that are running around your network. They're not just ones and zeros. I mean, that's stuff that is important to make our organizations work. So your security program, perimeter controls, I would say awareness is absolutely critical. Make sure your people are armed with the information they need to protect themselves. And that will extend not to just your business, but how they conduct themselves at home as well. So when they're browsing, they're sharing resources with their families to make sure that people are aware of what the risks are and what to avoid. So it's important that you do that as well. I would also really make sure that I have some way to recover, because it's inevitable. It's just like when I talk to a young driver, you're going to have an accident. So for network people, you're going to have some sort of an incident, whether it's malicious in nature or just an act of God. You're going to have to be able to recover. Folks are seeing that as their new reality. They're losing careers, businesses, organizations, their dreams, based on some people that would do anything without any reverence or respect to, what you've spent a lifetime building. So protect yourself, and if you need some help, we'd like to help you protect yourself.